Hey, welcome back. It is, what is it now, our fourth
Yeah,
week?
so it'd be our Thursday just gone is
Yeah.
the fourth week, and
So-
it's Saturday now, so it's 4 weeks and 2 days.
Wow, okay, so we've been here a month in Las Vegas, and today we've decided to go to Red Rock. Red Rock Canyon is one of my most favourite places, so whenever I've come here, whether it's for work or holiday, it's somewhere that I always make a trip out to. But we had a slight fail this morning in that we've not actually made it to the Red Rock National Park because you now have to reserve to go. Yeah,
Yeah, so for whatever reason, I'm guessing due to COVID, which is a little bit strange because it's all outdoors.
And
have to make
huge.
you have to make a reservation, and even the bikes were having to queue up. So unless you had pre-booked, you could buy a ticket, which we have done. We bought a year pass to all national parks, which is how much? $80?
$80. So it's not a ticket to go into the park. It's if you're driving, you need a pass to go in, and it allows you. You can either buy a one-day pass, which I think is about $8 for Red Rock, $30 if you want an annual pass for Red Rock, or $80, and then any of the national parks across the US. I don't know. It's a huge list that you can go to, and it allows you
every
entry.
national park. But yeah, so that's kind of a foul, but it's only a certain section of the Red Rock Mountain Canyons area that you can't get into. You can still free hike nearly everywhere else.
We left the main visitor centre for Red Rock, but as we left, we saw what was it?
No, as I'm driving up, I
Yeah.
spotted there's loads of turn-offs. There's loads. You don't need to spot anything here. You just find a turn-off, turn up it, and there's more.
Yeah.
The whole place is a desert, so you're not going to not find somewhere to go. And the spot we've stopped in looks like it's really good for mountain biking. There's tons, so
Yeah,
I'm
I think
looking
I
forward.
saw the name Calico Basin, which I've seen on the map before as a hiking spot and place that people go mountain biking. And there's loads of cars parked here, lots of people walking up the trails. So we're going to try this out.
I'm by the car. Showcasing. It's good because since we've been here, there's only been 2 mass shootings and probably 3 local murders. So there's no problems with guns out here at all. We've worked that out. We understand it now. Firstly, loads of people responded to my request to subscribe. So we've got loads of new subscribers, so thanks. And lots of really useful comments which we will pick up on and answer any questions or any pointers that we can give. So it does work. So,
Yeah, no, I've appreciated it. It's really nice seeing the number of subscribers go up, but also the comments. For me, I get a lot out of the comments, just seeing people saying that they're enjoying the videos.
you wouldn't imagine
Yeah.
that because she doesn't ask or mention it at all.
No, I did mention about the comments before.
No, I mean, you don't normally ask people, make sure you comment, let me know how it's going. All you say is like, comment, subscribe, get out there as quickly as you possibly can.
We thought we would update you on how this last week has gone. Last weekend, we started the search for the place that we intend to rent for the next year-ish. How has that gone so far?
It's a frustrating process for me. It's difficult because most of the properties that you see will be gone, so they don't update them, and I understand that it's advertising for the company, but it could be 90% of them don't actually exist anymore. The other frustrating part is our agent has to contact their agent who tells them whether it's available, already got applications on, or contracted, and that can change within 10 minutes.
Yeah,
So you
it's
can go out to a
crazy,
property and it's already gone, so that's a little bit frustrating. The properties that we're seeing aren't really exactly what we want. They do come up, but I don't think our agent fully understands what we're expecting.
When you're looking at a home to live in, and bearing in mind this isn't our place that we're intending to buy and somewhere that we're intending to be for a number of years, in which case we would spend a lot more time picking the right location, the right sort of home. This is a place to get us through the next year, so we still want it comfortable and nice, but then she's not picking up on the right thing. So then, as an example, we would like a modern-ish home. It doesn't have to be super modern, but a modern-ish, nice size backyard with a pool or just nice landscape garden. But then she went to the other extreme this week of then showing us properties. I'll explain. Our budget has been generally between anything from 2,000
to 4,000.
to 4,000, and we've explained if it meets all the kind of things that we want in the perfect location, then of course we'll spend at the higher end. But then this week she came back with properties at around 8,000, which was completely random.
So what we ended up doing, and the video hasn't come out yet because it's taken me a lot longer to edit than I thought, we did find a property that we liked.
On Wednesday, Tuesday we went out again and looked at another 8 properties, I think, in total.
16.
And again, only one of them was something, and actually it was better than the last place that I liked, I think, overall.
Yeah, it's a lot nicer.
Cheaper as well. It was 2,850, this one. A lot bigger. It's a 5-bedroom. We don't really need all of that, but it felt homely. It was, the owners had looked after it. They're doing repairs, modernising the home as well. So I personally preferred that.
Yeah, no pool, but otherwise everything else it fits. And the main thing is the location. No damaged drawers. That's another thing that seems to come up. Drawers and sides are broken, smashed.
It's really
tiles
strange.
Broken.
It's as if they don't actually care about the condition of the property they rent out. And I think about, we rent 3 homes in the UK, but we make an effort to make sure that they are of a good condition for the person that's living in there. We would make sure it's not in disrepair. But here, they just don't care.
We went to do the application. That's a whole process because all of the questions, obviously, because the majority of people they're going to have are Americans from the US.
Yeah, your credit score, your US pay stubs, your last 3 months pay stubs.
Your landlord references, and you can tell slightly off the topic, but it all comes into the same thing. Here in the US, unless it's a process, they just don't get it. So what we're finding is, you say to them, I've never rented a property, which we haven't. We've always owned our properties. We don't have a landlord. And they look at you as if you're a retard. And you're saying, how do I get around this? Well, put down corporate accommodation and give us their number. That's not a real thing. You can't just put that down.
Yeah, that was
so
very
they don't
strange.
understand that you haven't rented before. Okay, provide us with your previous landlord. There is no previous landlord. You could contact my parents if you'd like, because I guess they were my landlord at one point.
And even that's taken a lot longer. So we was told, you must get your application in straight away. It's first come, first serve. And we was the first people to get our application in, but then it's Saturday now. We put it in on Tuesday, late Tuesday, by like 5 p.m. But we still haven't heard back yet as to whether our application has been approved. We've been told, though, it's fortunate that we were first in line. So hence why today we're going out and we're looking at more homes, because we have no idea whether our application will go through.
And they keep pushing it. Oh, this is the market. Our market's really hot. It's thing. I don't really care. And if this application doesn't go through, it doesn't bother me. I just want to keep looking.
It's not a dream home or anything.
Yeah, and they're pushing it as if it's a sale, and I get it that people earn commission out of it, but we're just not that. We're not going to commit to something we're not happy with. Even if this gets accepted and we find a better place, so be it. The application fees are $75.
For this property, it was $75 each, so you both have to put an application in. But they tend to range anything from $50 to $100 per applicant.
Non-refundable.
Yeah, non-refundable.
What else have we done this week?
Well, this week and yesterday, I got my credit card through. So that has been a whole ordeal since we've started. I thought getting a card through Amex using Nova Credit was going to be really easy, and that's what was recommended. I saw it on forums. That ended up being a whole issue in itself. I done multiple searches into credit cards specifically for new immigrants, where there were websites saying these are the credit cards that are great for people in that position. We tried Discover, Open Sky, US
Amex,
Bank,
US Bank, our bank, which is Bank of America, and I know we've mentioned it and we're probably going to mention it a lot. don't believe it. It's nonsense. The short
It's
of
really
it is,
hard.
it's absolute garbage. It's a sales tactic to get you to apply, and if you should get it, fine. There is no such thing here as a new immigrant
No,
credit
because
card.
they end up following the same process,
Yeah.
which requires the utility bills, you to sign this
Tax
form
returns.
for the IRS, which you wouldn't have if you were a new immigrant, and then you have to wait weeks, whoever knows, months to get an
Well, it's
answer
been
back.
4 weeks on one of them, 3 weeks on the other three, and it's gone nowhere. However, you
yes.
found
A company called Jasper, and I found that from another website, and if I find this link again, I'll share it, because this one was done really well. It had all the pros and cons and benefits of each card, and on there was Jasper. And what was nice about Jasper is it was clearly designed for new immigrants, because it asks you questions like, what visa are you on, when are you entering, who are you going to be employed, who is your US employer, and then the documentation it requires, your evidence, ID, all of that is then
related to the immigration and your immigration status.
it's not asking me for things that I would not have, and it will do things like send your credit card to your employer's address, because they know they've verified that, they've checked. So you will need your employer's email address, things like that, but it was sensible. It all makes sense.
Yeah, and in fact it was, I think, a week.
Yes, I think I applied on a Thursday, and then by the Monday I'd got my email saying it was approved, and then by Friday I have my credit card. So now I can start building US credit.
And on that, just because it's reminded me, I actually lost my call. Not that that's uncommon, but I can't remember who it was now. So they, after 4 weeks of no progress with
Amex,
this
I think it was Amex.
utterly useless. 4 weeks of not receiving a credit card, which is for new immigrants. I then worked out that it was just one form that they needed, which is some disclosure on your taxes. Even though you haven't filed any, they need to be able to contact the IRS to prove that you haven't done it.
But they don't tell you that proactively.
No, you have to constantly call them. So we worked that out. I filled in the form. I was told to upload it to the website. Went to upload it to the website. The website said that they'd had all the documentation they need, which can't be true because they just told me that. So I called them back and said, look, how do I upload this? No, we won't take that. You need to fax it to us. And my response was, fax? I haven't seen a fax in 15 or 20 years. I'm not faxing it to you. That's the only thing we're going to accept. Okay, forget it, cancel it. If you don't want to go through the pain of tens of phone calls, faxing documents, and you can mail in documents, waiting a week for it to arrive, 15 days to come back. For some unknown reason, they have 15 days on their returns. Forget it. Don't bother with any of that. Look at the Jasper card.
And I would also say, so far, my experience after 24 hours has been really great. I mentioned Starling Bank in the UK that we signed up to before we left the UK. It's very similar. In fact, the cards are almost identical, but also their app is very similar to Starling. You can set it up to have notifications, so straight away it tells you your purchases, and you get cash back. It's not a secured credit card as well. And they've given me the maximum limit, so it's great that I'm not having to work with this $1,000 secured credit card.
And it's not, I guess some people do have them in the UK, but it's not really common. So for a secured card here, the way it works, as we understand it, because we didn't receive one, is it's meant to be really easy to get, because you front up anywhere from $300 to $3,000, I think the limit is. You choose that, they take that as a deposit. You still need to pay the card off, but they hold it there for obvious reasons. If you don't pay, they can just then take that from the deposit. You can't go beyond that limit. That's proved impossible, which to me is just unbelievable. They've already got your money.
Well, it's nonsensical, because to me, they have the money anyway, so I get the fact that you have to pay it off, but you're already fronting up the money for the credit card, so you're not really asking for credit, because you've given them your money in order to get credit.
Yeah, it makes no sense. So you could probably tell all of our frustrations around the finances and banking. We also learned that, and we've mentioned it before, there is no one system for electronically transferring money.
Oh, yeah.
You can have multiple. So you have something called Zelle. There's something, what did we find out
yesterday? Well, with
yesterday?
Jasper yesterday, unlike in the UK, when you have a credit card, it often asks you straight away for your direct debit details, your bank account, things like that, whereas this didn't. But you can go into the app and it asks you how you want to pay, and you can set up a direct link to your bank account, but it uses a service called Plaid, and this is where the services for payment come into play in the US. We don't really have that. We just have a direct link where you can transfer to your bank accounts. Here there's Plaid, there's Venmo, there's Zelle, there's all the, I mean, there's probably more.
Lots of services.
In terms of some of the more positive things that we found out this week, well, first of all, let me explain. Transitioning from my UK office at work to the US office hasn't been easy, and that's probably just a system thing. So only about 2 weeks ago I finally got my US bank details into our system. But then yesterday, I think it was yesterday or 2 days ago actually, somebody messaged me and they said, oh, you've not elected to where you want your payment to go. I've seen that you've entered your US bank details in, but you haven't elected the amount that you want. And I thought, well, in terms of the amount, surely I just want the full amount to go in. Why would I elect an amount? And then she sent me all these details to how I go into the system and elect the amount, and she walked me through. And then I had to ask, like, why would I have this option? So in the system, you can enter multiple bank accounts. In the UK, you would just have your one bank account where your salary goes into. But here, you can elect multiple bank accounts and then set a very specific amount. Say I want $250 to go to this account, I could do that. Or a percentage, I could say I want 60% here and 40% here. And then when I asked the lady why that is, she said, well, some people might have loans, debt, child payments, things like that. And rather than them get the money, they set it up so the money goes automatically to where it goes, which was a bit surprising, but then doesn't surprise me about what I've learned about the US and how they get paid. Here it's typical to get paid bi-weekly. In the UK, it's monthly. And every time I ask someone, oh, why is that? They said, well, and it's them, not me. This is them saying it, an American saying, oh, well, we just can't be trusted. If we got paid monthly, we would just spend all of our money. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, but your payments only come out monthly. But they said, no, we can't be trusted. It's better for us to get our money spread across twice across the month so that we know we have money at the end of the month. No? Okay, fair enough. And it's the same with how you set up your payment elections. Rather than trust people to make their payments to wherever it goes, why not force them into a situation where they can say, no, this money is definitely going to go to whichever person, place, debt collector that I need to owe money to. Which I would say in our case, because we've got multiple bank accounts, so I've set up a bank account with Bank of America, we have a joint, and Ant has one as well. And to get the fee of the account waived, I think it's like $12.99, you have to have a direct deposit going in. And because Ant's not working at the moment, in this case, it makes it easier. So we've actually found a use for this system where now I can set up the $250 that needs to go into that account just to make sure that we waive that fee. So there are definitely conveniences, and I thought that was quite an interesting one.
So one of the positives actually on the basis of that is the amount that you get paid. So let's say you get paid $3,000 a month in the UK. A direct transfer of that job allows you to get paid $3,000 every 2 weeks. So you receive the same amount 2 weekly as you do monthly. And in terms of the amount, I would say it's about 20 or 30% uplift. So as an example, if a KFC meal costs you £7 in the UK, you're probably going to pay about $8.49, $8.99 here. So if you look at that, you're getting paid double in numbers, so $6,000 a month instead of $3, but you're only paying about 20 to 30% more in terms of your everyday living.
We thought we would address some of the comments, and I know we started about the fact that I never engage properly and ask about the subscribers, and please do subscribe.
So she expects engagement from you but doesn't engage herself. Terrible.
But what has been great, as we mentioned at the beginning, are all the comments and so many more comments actually now, either through YouTube or on Instagram, where people have been messaging me directly. And what's interesting is the amount of comments we've been getting about other people who've been wanting to do the move or thinking about moving to the USA, and how seeing us has been quite inspiring for them. And we thought we would just talk a little bit about that.
One of the ones that's really interesting, and obviously the US is a popular place for many, many reasons, and people think that you can just self-elect to come out here. One of the people actually that's become a recent follower, she actually won the lottery. So there is a diversity lottery that the US has run for a really long time, and I wouldn't have imagined we'd ever have come across one of those people.
No, I was genuinely surprised. So when I saw your post about winning that, I thought, wow, that's great news.
Yeah, it really, really is. And it's good to know that people do genuinely win the opportunity to come out here. But a lot of the other people that don't necessarily understand how you get here think that you can self-elect and you just apply for a visa, you come out, you work.
It's not that easy. I can talk about my personal experience. I've known for years that I've wanted to move to the USA. It's something I've had in my mind 10 years maybe, I would say. Early 20s, maybe longer then, actually. A lot older.
It's a bit longer than that.
35 now. So so 15 years of knowing that this was something I was looking to do. I probably naively, when I was younger, probably hadn't thought about kind of how easy or hard it was. But fortunately for me, I was working for an American company, and I knew lots of people at work who had got the opportunity to move through the company. And that's something I would definitely say. If you are in that position and you're young enough where you can change who you're working for, pick a US company, or even if you're older. I've known people in their 30s, 40s, 50s working for American companies, and that's probably one of the easiest ways to do it. But I would say that you need certain skills. It's not just because you work for an American company, are they going to sponsor you?
In general, there are lots of types of visas, and we don't know them all. The ones we are more aware of are the L visas, which are exec level, so fairly high managerial level.
Or specialist skills, L1B, I think that one is.
I thought that was the H visa.
No, so within L you can get specialist and executive, there's different ones.
There you go, so I'm learning.
And also different conditions with those visas, so do be careful because some visas don't allow your spouse to be able to apply to work, and that's quite a significant thing, whether the job will pay enough for your spouse not to be working.
Exactly, and you have to meet that criteria, otherwise they know that you will not be able to support that person. They're probably then going to go and work. Also the H visas and the J visas, but again you're going to need either some form of education that they want or higher education that you're going to go into that's going to benefit the US, or a really high level skill. So at the moment in 2021 that's probably going to be around medtech and tech. So if you're in that field or you're considering coming to the US, get into that field and come out. And then, of course, the other option is be really rich. If you're rich, you could go anywhere. If you could show that you can sustain yourself, or you're running a business with enough income, you can find a way to get out here.
The other way that I personally know at work that other people have moved to the US is through education. I know lots of people who have gone to do their degrees or some other form of education and been sponsored through that institute to come to the US. Of course, then you can only be there for that duration, but then they've got employment during that time.
Yeah, so that's a really smart way of doing it. So you come out for educational purposes, you then get an employer to then sponsor your visa. And that's a key point, I think, in this is you pretty much in 90% of cases are going to have to be sponsored by somebody to get you out here. You can't just say, I'm tired of working my desk job in London, I'm just going to pop to America to do some work. Another one of the comments was around integration, I would say, is what covers it. So how multicultural, the cost of living, the community feel. Now, we've travelled across the US, not a huge, or for me, not a massive amount of states, maybe only 5 or 6 different states, but I've probably visited 20 or so times. And even the places that people claim aren't so nice and not so friendly to people who aren't white, I've always had a good time, and I'm not saying that's representative at all of people's real situations. I'm just saying it's similar to the UK. It depends on where you are, timing, the situation, and where you choose to be. What we found in Las Vegas is it's not diverse at all. I would say it's from what I see, it's probably 90% white, 8% Mexican, and 2% black people. That's obviously not the actual statistics.
0.5 Indians,
Yeah.
even less.
Which is very, very, very different to where we were meant to be going, which was California, which is about 50% Indians. So
it's massive. It's one of the things I knew anyway, because where we was going in the Bay Area is very mixed, and you can almost find a community for everyone in the Bay Area. But coming to Las Vegas, well, number one, we only come here on holiday, so it's not one of the things that you're paying attention to whilst you're on holiday. But now you live here, you do see it. And it was probably one of the first things my mum even asked me, how mixed culturally is it?
It's not.
Yeah, it's not. But has it made me feel uncomfortable? Do I feel that there is a racial issue here? Personally, and I know it's only been a month, I've not felt uncomfortable or felt like there is an issue with that at all.
Yeah, I would agree. From where we've been and the people we've interacted with up until this point, everybody's treated us great. Our experience has been really good. The service has been amazing. Our frustrations are absolutely not to do with diversity or race.
Nothing. That's just
our
infrastructure.
slow compared to the UK.
I mean, even this hike, we've taken a walk along this place in Red Rock. People are constantly saying hello and how's your day. Really great. Bit like what I was saying last week when we was in Summerlin. People are in a great mood. It's brilliant for your mental health because I feel very happy here.
Yeah, it's really nice. In terms of how do I feel it compares to the UK, I would say this is definitely a step up in terms of your interaction with other people is a lot nicer. Again, I know we mentioned it before, whether that's fake or not, I can't tell, but at what point do you call it out? Because if that's what everybody's like, you have to take it on face value until proven otherwise. And I'm sure under the surface, there's probably questions people have or preconceived perceptions of us, but at the moment it seems to be fine.
And the other thing I would say, which has been a huge topic at the moment, is the Asian hate crime that we're hearing a lot about everywhere, and hearing a lot about in California, which is extremely worrying and sad. Here, we're just not hearing about it. We're not seeing that. There's lots of Asian communities here. We pretty much spend most of our time eating Asian food and meeting the people, and it doesn't have that sense of anxiety or fear here. Certainly not from what we're seeing. It would be interesting to see from an Asian's point of view.
And again, this is where it's really difficult to even address most of these because the demographic is massively different. It isn't as integrated. When we're talking about the Asian communities we go into, we eat a lot of Asian food, so we're going to those areas. But in terms of if you're just out and about, you're not seeing that many people.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas LA and Silicon Valley is very densely populated, which means you've got more people and more opportunity for stuff like that to happen. And it's not an excuse, it's just our observation at the moment.
We have finished our hike. I'm not too sure you could call it a hike. We probably hiked for about a mile, do you reckon?
Yeah, we definitely went a reasonable amount, but nowhere near what we were expecting.
No, and what had actually happened when we got to the top, we ended up talking to a couple of women who were walking their dogs, questioning them about dog booties and the heat.
We're considering a dog, and Vegas being Vegas, it gets up to 50 odd degrees, so there's other considerations that you have to make for owning a pet here, as in not singeing their paws. So we were just wondering how people go about it. They gave us some good advice.
And then whilst we met them, we met another couple and ended up spending, I can't imagine how long, probably half an hour, maybe longer.
Oh God, a lot longer, probably an hour.
An hour talking to this couple. The guy was from Canada.
Lives in Seattle, works in tech.
And then the female came from Australia, lived in Texas for a while, and is now living in Seattle, works in tech
as well.
And it was just great to, again, this is
what the US is like.
People just
really
chatting
friendly
to each other, good advice. We got a lot of information.
Yeah, we got a ton of information out of them. One of the things that's coming up really, becoming really noticeable is there's not one person we've spoken to that said, California's great. We love California as visitors for the weather, for the scenery. People that have lived there and people that got family there instantly go, don't do it. Eat broken glass over moving to California.
Everyone is saying not to do there's that few you didn't do California is kind of the reaction.
Which is a bit disappointing because I like it and I want somebody to go, oh, it's amazing, don't worry about that, go to here. What we have heard, and we do know from a really short trip that we had, is San Diego. It's kind of like a little republic of California, so people recommend living there if you can afford it. It's expensive, not quite as expensive as Silicon Valley, but still really expensive.
But lots of people advocating for just living here in Vegas, and especially if you can live away from the Strip. So Summerlin again has come up, and being away, and lots of good conversations about tips about how to save money. Tax attorneys we found out about today.
Yeah, that's the best thing for me. Everything that I thought it was before leaving is what it is. You can get so much of your taxes written off once you own assets. And we're going to do a whole video, probably 2, on finances. But once you own assets here, you can write so much of it off that it reduces your salaried income tax. So whereas we've mentioned before, it's about 25% here. So there's no state income, it's just federal, it's about 25%. In actual fact, once we've written everything off, it'll be around 21% total income tax. So we'll do a video explaining that, how it benefits us, and an actual working example of it, which I enjoy doing. Selena not so much. So I really enjoy showing people real examples of this is what it looks like. If you earn 200,000, this is how much you have in your pocket. Selena doesn't like that.
I have a job which I work at quite high, like I put a lot of effort in, which is why I don't necessarily have the time. It's time consuming, but I get that it's really useful. But we're planning on doing these updates every week if we can. So a new location, if we can keep finding a new place to hike, go to visit, and then we'll just keep updating you each week.